in lesson 8.4, we are going to look at angles and polygons. So basic rules of angles and polygons is that they usually add up to something. So the relation between angles and lines is sort of going to help us in our angles and polygons. So the very first thing we have is a rule about triangles. It's called the triangle sum rule. And that rule states that the measures of the angles of a triangle will add up to 180 degrees. So if this is 1, 2, and 3, angle 1 plus angle 2 plus angle 3 is going to equal 180 degrees. So the sum of all angles in a triangle equal 180 degrees. So for example, so if you need to pause the video, make sure you wrote this down. So for example, if we have a triangle that looks like this, we don't know what that angle is. This one is 25 degrees. This one is 37 degrees. We can use our triangle sum rule. And we know that 25 plus 37 plus x equals 180 degrees. So then what we would do is we would solve for x. So first we would add 25 plus 37, which is 62 plus x equals 180. Subtract 62, subtract 62, and we get that this angle x equals 118 degrees. Okay, well, what if you don't have a triangle? Let's say you have a quadrilateral. Well, the sum of the angles of a quadrilateral so the sum of the angles of a quadrilateral equal 360 degrees. So you're probably wondering, well, how did you come up with that? Well, if we use a simple example like a rectangle, it's a quadrilateral. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 angles. You know that 90 times 4 is 360. Well, what if we have something that looks more like this? So we have 4 sides, but they're not like a perfect square or anything. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, we know the rule of triangles is that the sum equals 180. Well, in a quadrilateral, you have 2 triangles, and 180 plus 180 is 360. So the sum of the angles of a quadrilateral is 360. And you would do the math the same way. So if you have something like this, which is in our book, for example 2, and I'll draw it the best I can, something like that. This one is 98 degrees. This angle here is 137. This is 52. And that is x. Well, you know from this rule that 98 plus 137 plus 52 plus x equals 360. So we would add the three numbers together. That's going to be 287 plus x equals 360. Subtract 287 from both sides, and you get that x equals 73. Okay, so this is all pretty easy math. So what do we do if we have something that's 6-sided or 8-sided? So if we have something, say, that is 6-sided, the first thing we could do to figure out how much the angles, or the sum of the angles would equal, is draw it into triangles. So draw a line. There's one triangle, there's two triangles, 3, 4. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles. So 4 times 180 is going to equal 180 times 4, 4 times 0. That's 2, 3, 720. It's going to be 720 degrees. Okay, so that's one way to figure it out. But there is actually a little trick. Anytime you have a polygon that has more than 4 sides, you take the number of sides minus 2 and multiply that by 180 degrees. Okay, so it's a little rule. Make sure you write it down. Sum of the interior angles of a polygon is the number of sides. So we're just going to, we'll just put number of sides minus 2 times 180 degrees. Okay, S minus 2 times 180. Since S looks a lot like a 5, it might be better to write it as N. Okay, our book will probably write it as an N. But you just have to remember, it's the number of sides minus 2 times 180. So let's say we have a shape that has 9 sides. I'm not going to draw it. But if it has 9 sides, you would take 9 minus 2 times 180. So what's 9 minus 2? 7 times 180. Oops, 56. So 1, 2, 6, 0 degrees. And then you can use that to figure out the angles, the unknown angles in your 9-sided polygon. Okay, so for today's assignment, you are going to be doing 1 through 24 all. 1 through 24 all. And if you have any questions, now is the time to ask. Otherwise, you can get started on your homework.